lot of work about landscape and how we interact with that, both on a physical, but also an emotional level. And that's caused me to wonderfully be able to travel around the world. I do a lot of work about ice and climate change, and that's taken me into the Arctic Circle for a few residencies and some trips myself, so that I've been able to gather reference material, but also experience that place.
Beauty and uniqueness, not having the same thing that everyone else has, wanting to be different. That inspires me a lot. I love fabric. I've gone to the store and picked up something and someone said, well, what are you making with that? And I'm like, I don't know. Being able to provide this necessary accessory or necessary equipment has been very fulfilling.
I think not having the pressure to do anything publicly, to just work and be like, I'm making work. It's been very freeing to not have to worry about that, to not have to worry so much about social media, just kind of work. And I really enjoy that because I just love the idea of making something from nothing. So I've had to rethink how I approach my work in photography, and in a lot of ways it's just been to be very patient.
With encaustic paints, glass, as well as traditional printmaking techniques to make a wide expanse of work that is inherently print, but also dimensional and has a lot of depth to it. Getting the viewer to connect with this piece just slightly beyond that initial viewing, to start to get that emotional connection then to the landscape they're viewing. Even though it's a recollection of mine, you can feel a personal connection to that.
At the beginning, it was just like, oh, I need to make masks. I love using Ankara African print fabric all the time. A mishmash of all the strips from different fabrics that I've used to make masks. Oh, so it's just an array of all of them sewn together, like black and white, it's blue, it's all sewn together, cut it out and put together that mask. Sewing masks it's made me feel like what I'm doing matters a little bit more. Sewing and creating is an art too. Every thread needs to be perfect. It can't be just something that I do together. Just to feel good about what you're wearing, how you look. So that's important.
I work in photography, I work in painting, I work in collage. I've worked in collage for a really long time, and often when I traveled, I would collect materials, and that was what I would do, almost like daily entries. I wanted to provide something that might be a little gem-like, look back to a painting that I'd made, like, it must have been in the 1980s. I always loved this one color combination that I used, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just take that color combination and just do, variations on it.
And so for the CSA, I'm building box structures, and then that box opens up, and then a scroll of a print will roll out and kind of allow you to unfurl this landscape. When I heard about this idea, I thought it was fantastic. It got me so excited because it's such an obvious thing.
I think it's a great idea, first of all, to get a feel of 9 people within a community.
But the fact that an arts institution is supporting artists is really important. It might be like, it's really worth me saving the money to own this because the presence of real art in your life, it really resonates versus having just a reproduction.
I can look at it as a whole picture that it's all needed. So sometimes it's finding something different than what you are used to doing.
Really trying to see interesting things that might relate to either COVID or to what people are doing that they weren't doing before.
If you're struggling to create, make something that's outside of those bounds, something that kind of releases your expectations and your need to make as a practitioner of your craft